especially in times of sadness and unfulfillment and sometimes despair. Sometimes all we're left with is hope, and that's not a bad thing.
Hello and welcome to the Believe the Hope podcast. I am here with Tom Kress, the CEO and owner and coach of High Esteem Coaching and Speaking. Faced with many difficulties and challenges when he was growing up, he created a life of dysfunction in Tom. So he was always feeling less and not good enough and tremendous amount of self-judgment. For years, Tom was going through the motions, mostly disengaging from life, working jobs and that were unfulfilling in many ways. Finally, he became fed up, not realizing the dreams and feeling unaccomplished. He always had the feeling he could do more and be more. 15 years ago, he became a certified life coach, and 9 years ago, he began public speaking career. Since then, his dreams have flourished because he has changed his focus. He focuses on what he can do versus what he cannot. The major message of his mission through coaching and speaking is guiding folks to live their powerful life. As a survivor, he has spoken to almost 500 schools and hundreds and thousands of students on sexual abuse awareness and prevention, empowering over 304 students to come forward about their abuse. Tom feels having the ability and skills to work and live in a purpose is a tremendous gift. His goals every day is to pay it forward. Life in any circumstances is amazing when you live in your power. So thank you for coming on, Tom. Thank you for sharing your message. I know some of your message and what you preach about is a tough topic to discuss. Many of those people are, especially young, if they've been abused, are probably lacking hope or lacking direction because of that type of abuse. So I appreciate your insight and your story and what you're doing for not only our community locally, because I know we've known each other for about 14 years here locally, but also just getting this message out to a bigger audience and to share that there is hope on the other side and that there is power with them.
Absolutely, Paul. I appreciate you having me on. I mean, this is really an honor. I love what you're doing. I love what you do on a daily basis. I am a personal, client of yours who has been able to touch his toes after 30 years of not being able to touch my toes. So,
Yeah.
A shameless plug to my good friend Paul and his business. Yeah, as a survivor of sexual abuse, there was a time where I felt nearly hopeless, and that is no place for anyone to be.
Mm-hmm.
So fortunately, I have been able to learn a lot to be able to pay that forward.
With that question, everyone has a little bit of definition of what hope means to them or how they found that hope. What does that mean to you personally?
Well, to me personally, hope is it's a universal human experience, right? And it can provide strength and resilience in the face of challenges, right? It's also a coping mechanism for some people because mostly all they do is, rely on hope and that, drags them through whatever they're going through. But it can also be a powerful force that can help people cope and deal with the difficult situations that they may be in and help them eventually achieve their goals. But it often arises from a deep understanding of, or even a yearning, right, for betterment. And even though, some of it may come from a need or a desire, right, especially in times of sadness and unfulfillment and sometimes despair, sometimes all we're left with is hope. And that's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. I kind of come with my definition of hope is that it gives people permission. It gives people permission to fight, another day. It gives permission to step into something that they're feeling like they're called to, but they're maybe scared or dragging their feet or whatnot as well.
Absolutely.
When you were feeling hopeless because of that abuse, how did you find the hope to keep going? Because if hope was the only thing you had left, but you were feeling basically hopeless, or that apathy sets in, which is the worst place to be when you just don't care about anything. Where did you find that hope to keep fighting and keep changing?
That's a really, really good question. And I have to say that you don't really know that you're leaning or just holding on to that hope. Sometimes you don't know you are. You're just, as I said earlier, you're being dragged through it because you do have a sense of hope. You live with a sense of hope. And I know not everyone does, but hope for me, for a very significant time in my life, I felt was all I had. You know, I was stuck because my my story in a short form is I was sexually abused for 10 years and of course threatened and all of that. So I kept it a secret. And then of course I believed, like every victim believes, that it's their fault. And I began to believe it was my fault. So this became a secret I kept with me for well over 25 years until I told my wife, who was the first person I ever told. And when you're stuck with all of that, uh, sometimes hope is all you got. And hope was basically, I feel, was still there because I had amazing parents and siblings. And I come from a family of 9 children. I'm the third of 9 children. And I had continual hope that I could be, one day, I could be like any one of them because I looked up to all of them, right? And so that hope carried me through a lot of days, weeks, and years. And my dad was an amazing man. He worked hard, he played hard. He taught me so much, and he still does today. Fortunately, he's still with us he's 85 years old. And I love my mom so much, but we didn't have a great relationship, mainly because I was holding on to that secret. So I never told her what happened to me. She didn't know, because I know in my heart that if she did know what had happened to me, our relationship would have been different. So I didn't give that to her. I didn't give that opportunity for her to help me the way I know she would have. And then she died at a pretty young age, 64 years old. Um, so hope is what carried me through all of that. And then it carried me through my time in the Navy. Had a nice short little Navy career, and it was an honor to serve my country. But it was hope that led me back home, because I was essentially the first person to leave home and go do something like that, right? So I needed hope, and that was a big part of who I was. And then hope led me to the point where I felt I won at life by marrying the wonderful woman that I did. And my wife, Jill, has been an amazing leader for me to learn how I can become who I was meant to be.
Yeah, community relationships definitely play a role in just having someone believe in you, whether they know your trauma or not, or what you're struggling with. Just knowing that they are always going to have your back. And I know Jill personally. She's pretty cool. She's a pretty cool lady. She's a really awesome human being. When you're talking to students, coaching clients that maybe in the situation where you're in, where they don't have a lot of hope, what advice are you giving, or what are you helping, the questions that you're asking to help them find that hope, or find that meaning, or find that community to help bring them forward?
Yeah. So, and this is what was hard for a very long time, was not knowing, right? Because we're not really taught how to deal with our stuff. I was going to swear. I don't know if
It's
you
okay.
want to swear.
It's whatever. I don't. It doesn't matter. But people might not like it. It's as the conversations are meant to be. We're talking about some heavy stuff, and we're trying to. I'm trying to help people relate to a lot of situations and different avenues in life, and talk to a lot of different people that have different experiences. So whatever emotions or whatever you feel like you need to to share, please do. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but go ahead.
No, that's fine. I completely appreciate setting boundaries like that. Yeah. So that's awesome. There's a hummingbird right outside my window. So when I'm dealing with clients and I'm speaking to all the students that I speak to, I know, because of the work I did 15 years ago to become a life coach, I had to, in order for me to be able to work with anyone else, I had to get work done for me, right? And that was hard. I'm not going to blow smoke up anyone's butt. It's hard to deal with past pain and trauma. But if you don't, it will affect you the rest of your life, right? So we need to. But a lot of us aren't taught to, right? So fortunately, I've been taught, and now I'm paying it forward through what I do. And how I cultivate that sense of hope and that sense of being. I'll probably give you a kind of a rundown of basically how to go through it, even though I didn't go through it in that sense, but I've learned that that's really the way to go. And the first one is, first and foremost, we have to engage in self-care. We have to take care of ourselves, right? And then the next one is to practice gratitude, right? Be thankful for what you have and what you've been able to achieve or experience. And then surround yourself with positive influences, whether it be, music or art, but most importantly, I'm talking about people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Positive influences in your life make a difference. So find someone you connect with and learn from them. And then we get into the other ones of setting realistic goals and visualizing positive outcomes. And then, you want to seek meaning and purpose. And through all of that, and I can break a lot of that down for you if you want, but I mean, that's essentially how we go about doing it. But it's, where are we learning that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't classes in schools, right? So people have to go either to therapy or hire a life coach like me to learn how to go through those processes to find who you were meant to be in every moment. So,
Mm-hmm.
so through all of that, we're able to work and gain, most importantly, a thing called acceptance. I believe this is one of the most important qualities any person can have, is acceptance. And I have this wonderful family friend who, her name is Patty McDonald. And Patty, if ever you watch this, hi Patty, that she gave me this picture, and it says, joy moves at the speed of acceptance. And when you accept, this is the crucial part of acceptance. When you accept things that have happened to you, you accept people as they are, that helps you move forward with more hope and more drive, right? So it's really, really powerful to accept, but it takes a lot to learn it, a lot, but it's worth it. So worth it.
And those were good. Those were all good points. And it was going to bring up a question, because we can have the hope, we can have the understanding to keep going, but we can have all this knowledge, but if we're not taking action in any way, shape, or form, none of this, you don't ever move forward. You don't have the acceptance to move forward. You don't have the fight
Right.
to take action and move forward, because ideas, thoughts, motivation, that's all waning, because you can have motivation, and then you have a flat tire on the way to work, and that takes all your that just you're going through a lot that can derail your whole day, your whole week, and then that motivation leaves. And
Right.
so if you're taking those consistent actions, like you were saying, you're laying out those processes in the community and the support group, you have all those pillars that you can lean on. So if one of them's crumbling, or you're not quite building up to the one pillar, you have these other ones kind of holding you up, that always move you forward and keep you taking action. Because you can have all these thoughts and ideas and hope and to hang on, but at some point you have to make a decision to take action on something to move forward.
No question about that, Paul. I mean, and this is another thing I teach, whether it be individual clients or groups or what have you, asking for help. For a long, long time, people used to judge us if we asked for help, right? And there's something wrong with you if you ask for help. And that is so not the truth. The truth is, the more we weren't meant to go through this life alone anyway. So why try and go through stuff all by yourself? Ask for help. And that's why, for me, engaging in self-care, part of that engaging in self-care is at the very least, don't hesitate to ask a friend, or a family member or a professional. If you're struggling, it works, it makes a difference, but it all starts with you making that choice to talk to someone finally. And I finally did, and look what happened to me. My whole life changed when I finally talked about my abuse, right?
Mhm.
It's an incredible thing. And the biggest part of my mission is to help people learn how to ask for help.
Someone that's a chronic type A, I got to just dig down and do it myself. I'm a chronic not asking for help, and I've been working on that, trying to get better at that, because
Yep.
I know every time I've asked for help or reached out, you'd be surprised how many people actually want to help you or are looking out for you.
Yep.
But they just don't know
Yep.
because you haven't told them that you need help, or that there's a lot of people smarter than you on a lot of things or have the experience that you're looking for. My coaches always say, if you're trying to get somewhere, find the coach that's been through it all and gone through your ask everything you're going for, and ask the questions for help of how to, because they're going to tell you exactly the way versus you just trying to almost muscle your way to do that. So thank you for that, because I mean, as someone that's a chronic non-asker for help, I'm trying to work on that. It does help. The more I give up control, yeah, just everything. I find it does better.
Paul, it's really a societal thing. We're all suffering from a societal construct that doesn't work, right? The fact that we're trying to go through life in our struggles alone, that's something that doesn't work. As a matter of fact, what's the greatest lie man tells himself? I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's the greatest lie we tell ourselves. I'm fine. When down deep, you're hurting for whatever reason, grief, pain, sickness, whatever it is, we're lying when we tell people I'm fine. But, it's the construct that's been taught to us for so many years. And I want to break that cycle. My goal is to break that cycle. The cycle of silence around abuse, the cycle of silence around, thinking about suicide. I also speak on suicide awareness and prevention. I mean, these are things that we need to break the cycle of, because there's too much silence around it, and there needs to be more talk about it, because that talk, that shedding light on it, that brings hope for that one individual who thought they were alone.
We touched on this a little bit, but what other things do you think individuals or communities can help inspire more hope into their communities, into the world?
Well, I really believe that volunteerism, a community group, just go out and join one and do something in the community that helps the community. It can be something as small as, picking up litter, something as small as that. Because what's really cool about getting out into the community is, number one, you're out and about, and that does good on your whole full body health, right? Your physical, your mental, emotional, all of that, spiritual. And also at the same time, you're finding out who you are in those scenarios, right? You're finding out more about who you are and what kind of things you're attracted to. It's hard to do that behind a screen and a keyboard, right? You can hardly learn anything without a real sense of experience. And that's what we need more of. I mean, you can learn a lot on YouTube, I get it, but having those experiences is what really gives us sustenance to go forward with more hope, with more gratitude. I mean, just with a whole lot more sense of being. It's really cool.
Last question is more of a letting you freestyle. Is there's any message that you would like to share that you haven't shared yet?
Yeah, there's a big one, and this has a lot to do with how when people are asking for help, telling you that something's wrong, the first thing you want to do is you want to acknowledge and validate that person, that they're in that headspace, whatever it is, because laughing at them, of course, is awful. Judging them in any way is awful, and almost as bad as telling them what you did to get out of it. No, everyone goes through everything differently, right? So it's almost as bad as judgment to tell someone what to do. what we want to do is provide opportunity for people to learn how to be with their feelings, that their feelings are real. Every single one of them, the feelings are real, and how you can learn to be with them and try your best to understand why they're there at all. And this is what brings hope is people not feeling like they're being pushed away or dismissed or not heard, right?
Mhm.
And if you can accept how you feel, you start to learn how to accept how you feel, that brings hope. But again, as I said earlier, who teaches that stuff? And fortunately, I know some coaches who do that, and I do it myself. And there's a lot of self-help opportunity. But for the most part, if you can find a therapist or find a coach or find a counselor, just get the help. You're not alone. You're not alone.
Awesome. Yeah, having understanding and listening and just letting them
And
share that expression.
one more thing, Paul.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're
One
good.
more thing
You're
is
good.
I wanted to make sure I said this today. There's a lot of time when we are working on ourselves and we're trying to follow that hope and we're trying to move forward with all the things that we're struggling with. If you have chosen some way to help yourself and you have setbacks along the way, please know that I heard this quote from the founder of the coaching school I went to. He said it 15 years ago, and I have never forgotten it, and it works so well that if you're working on a certain program that you're trying to move forward with, trust the process. When he said that, I said, okay, there's a process in place. Even though you may have setbacks, keep trusting the process and keep moving forward. And if you want anything to bring you hope, that's it. Trust the process. And if you're working on, all those different things that help you move forward, trust that. You'll have setbacks, but please know you're working on it. You're right where you're supposed to be.
I often say that to a lot of my clients that have been, as you know, I work with a lot of people that have been in a lot of pain and haven't got results other places. And so I just let them know they're in the right place and just trust the process. And we're gonna work our ass off for you, and we have your back.
Yeah.
And there's going to be ups and downs, just like anything, because healing's not necessarily linear all the time. But yeah, trust the process.
That's awesome.
How can people connect with you more and get to know more about what you do and everything like that?
Well, the easiest way is through a phone call. You can put it up on the screen. Phone call or text, 312-735-6694, or through my email at tom@highesteemcoaching.com. And we can start working and for you to be the person you were meant to be. That's what you're looking for.
Nice.
High Esteem is H-I.
Like high, like waving.
S. High, yeah. HIESTEE coaching.com.
Coaching.com.
Yep. Awesome.
Perfect. So if you're watching the video, you can see that on the screen and be able to reach out to Tom further. So thank you so much, Tom, for your insight. Thank you so much for sharing your mission, talking about a topic, like I said, that's a little bit more heavy than most topics, but needs to be discussed because there are hurt people in the world, and the more hurt people just hurt more people. And I think you see that a lot on social media and all that other stuff right now, especially during an election year. You see a lot of it even more. It seems like it comes out of woodwork even more. But yeah, so thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for empowering hope in the community, in your students, in your clients, and just being a better light into the world. So appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Paul. So I appreciate being here, and any opportunity I can further the message, I'll always take it. So I appreciate that, Paul.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the podcast is just the conduit to facilitate the message, but I want to make this an actual movement because the more hope and positivity spread into the world, we can take away that darkness, or not all of it, but we can knock a lot of it down. So, and help a lot of people.
Every little bit helps, Paul. Every little bit helps, right?
Yeah. So, thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate it. And
All
until
right, my
next
friend.
time,
Take care.
until next time, we'll give you another episode of Believe the Hope podcast.
Awesome.